Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to CIT112 Networking Plus for this spring 2019 semester. Welcome back to college, or if this is the first time, I'm glad to have you. My name is Professor Steve Alpern, and I am going to be your instructor for this distance education course for this semester. All right, so how come a video? Well, you know, I make this video every semester. It's a new one each time, and it really has two main purposes. And the first purpose is really to give you out there in distance education an opportunity to see who is the person on the other side of your correspondence in dealing with this course. Now, that gives you a chance to see who I'm at least who I am. And unfortunately, I just don't have a chance to see who you are. We will correspond a lot in Canvas on our email utility, but I don't get to see you unless for some reason you have to come into the office to meet with me. And I'll give you some information about that a little bit later as well. All right, so that's the main purpose, the first purpose. Now the second purpose of this video is really to give me an opportunity to talk to you about the course. How's the course run? Now everything I'm going to say now in the next 15 or 20 minutes, whatever it may take, is really a video orientation about the course and the way I have constructed the course. It's maybe different than other instructors at the college have done courses. They're all a little bit different, okay? So everything I'm going to talk about today, in reality, is sitting up there in the Canvas. Okay, so before we start, there are three documents you have to get, okay? And let me point them out. One is your syllabus, okay? One is, well, that was the assignments, and the other one's the syllabus. So you get the assignments, the syllabus, and then you have what's called a schedule of assignments summary sheet. This is really important because it gives you a lot of due dates, okay? All of these documents are sitting up in Canvas, all right? You need to get those. Okay, so what do you need to get started in the course? Let's start with the first thing. We don't have a book. That's right, no book in this course. What we're going to use is something called LabSim, or Test Out. All the instructions of how to get it, either you pick it up from the bookstore or you're going to go directly to the manufacturer of the product and buy it from him. And it's a web-based application which will give you videos, a database of questions, some simulations which you could do. You don't have to do them all. Again, you have to look at the assignments to know what you should and shouldn't do. And some practical demonstrations which they give you in some networking issues. Okay, so you need to get that really as soon as you can because this course is starting right now. We can't wait. There's really a lot to this course, and that's of course what I want to talk about. All right, so once you get that and you have your schedule of assignments, you'll see about what you have to do every week. Now, let me start off by saying that in this course, it's really developed so that you can work at your own leisure. But there are going to be certain cutoff dates on the exams, and you must meet those cutoff dates, and that's why you need those documents that I told you about, because it'll give you exactly what's needed on each week and what you have to do. You don't have to do them, you know, you don't have to, you can do them all in one day, actually. But you don't have to do them at the dates that I say. You just have to make sure that you meet the scheduled cutoff dates on all the exams. Again, I'll get into that a little bit later. All right, so how is the scoring done? How do you get an A in the course? Everybody's always interested in that, right? So let me talk a little bit about that. All right, so what I've done is I have broken the course down really into two basic parts. Let's call it the first part, which will be the midterm, and the second part, which will be the final. Now, the course itself is built up of 16 different chapters. You'll see this. And you'll have part 1, 2, and 3 as the first part, and then parts 4, 5, and 6 as the second part. So once you take the first part of the course and you've done the midterm exam, put it aside. You don't have to worry about it. And then you take the second part of the course. Now you'll say, wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. It's going to make it easier for you. But again, if, for example, you're planning on a certification, that's going to be really hard because you're only, you have to have the whole thing for the certification. But for the course, because I know there are a lot of students out there taking this in distance education that are not really going into networking, but they need to take it because it's a requirement for some other aspect of the college, okay? So I understand that, and so that's why I've broken it down to make it a little bit easier for you, okay? So You have your midterm and you have your final. And the midterm itself is going to be worth 180 points. The final itself is going to be worth 200 points. And then, and this is the kicker, you'll have 6 knowledgeability exams, each one worth 20 points, or a total of 120 points, which means that for the whole course, 500 points. Okay, so how do you get an A? Well, if you have 450 points and above, you will have an A. If you have 400 points and above, you will have a B. If you have 350 points and above, you'll have a C, etc. All this is explained in the syllabus, so I don't have to go into a lot of detail. Now, the one thing I do want to point out to you is that suppose you end up the course with 435 points, but you need 450 for the A. Well, how can you get the A? There is no homework. There is no extra assignments. There is no lab assignments. How do you get the points? Okay, to give you a chance, I have set up a midterm and a final bonus exam. The points that you earn on the bonus will be points over and above the overall points that you get in the course. So, for example, if you had 435 points and you had 15 bonus points, that would be 450, and therefore you would have an A. Okay? Okay, the exams are very important to you. All right? Now, in taking these exams, and I'll talk a little bit more because I will have some other videos up there as introduction that you need to take a look at and listen to. But if you miss an exam, it's 0. That's it. So, well, what happens if you forgot? Well, then it says 0. And each one of the exams are really important. Now, the midterm and the final, I know students don't miss those. But the knowledgeability exams, they seem to forget. Now, again, your assignments, your scheduled assignments, it's going to have all the exams and all the dates that you have up there. So you can't miss them. Now, you can't do things like, and I hate to say this, but I've had students in the past that have started an exam, and then they said, my friend just called me. He wants me to come down and have a beer with him. And he let the exam run. Well, the exam runs out. You only get a certain time period to take these exams, okay? So that's important that once you open an exam, you must complete the exam. You can't say, I need to go to the bathroom now. If you do, the time is going to keep going. So make sure you get everything straight before you take that exam, okay? Now, the knowledgeability exams are relatively easy. You shouldn't max those out or get 19 or 20 points because they're focused on just a certain area. For example, in the beginning, we deal with, let's say, chapters 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going into what they're about. And then there'll be a knowledgeability exam on that. Then we go to chapters, let's say, 5 to 6, the knowledgeability exam on that. Chapter 7 and 8, knowledgeability exam on that. So the knowledgeability exams are very focused, and they're pretty easy. Now you're going to say, wait, can I use the internet? You can do whatever you want. Where can I take it? You take it home on your computer. They're all web-based. Do I have to come into school to take it? No, not at all. Could you? Sure. Can you go to a library to take it? Sure. Whatever way you want to do it. Can you use open book? Absolutely. I'm not requiring that you have a closed book or come into school in order to take that exam under different conditions. Just take them, and that will do. You'll do fine. Now, in the beginning, I give you a little extra time in the exam because you're not used to it, maybe the first 1 or 2. Then I begin to cut down the time. Now, why am I doing that? Well, I don't want you to sit there and look up everything on Google, look up everything on the internet. You need to be knowledge of the material that's presented to you in LabSim. Again, when we talk about LabSim and Test Out, which is your tool, I'm going to go into a separate video to talk a lot more about that. Here, I just want you to know that's what we're using, and that's what we have, okay? All right, so is the course hard? Some people would say, well, this course, is it really? No, it's not hard. What the problem is there's a lot of material. And the way I made it easy, I broke it down into 2 parts. If I kept it as 1 part and tested you on the whole thing, it would be probably pretty difficult. The points that they make are really, they're almost memorization questions, whether we're dealing with cabling, whether we're dealing with switches or routers or protocols or IP addressing. It's all there. Now, one more thing. When you go into Test Out and LabSim, your tool, they'll give you the videos. Some of them you're going to like, some of them you're not going to like, but I have set up for you in Canvas a number of other videos which are supplemental to those videos. You don't have to look at them, but so let's say you're having a problem in whether you're using a crossover or a straight-through cable or whatever it may be, or you're having trouble in the IP4 addressing schemes or IP version 6. I will have other videos up there that you just click on them and they will show up for you as well, okay? Now, in addition, what about the exams and all the questions? All right, LabSim has over 500 questions there, and I have over 2,000 questions that are listed up there. Okay, so I have listed a lot of questions for you to practice on as well. The more you practice, the greater will be your knowledgeability and be able to handle these exams. If you're going to certify, you're going to have to put out an extra effort to do well in certification. The course is oriented towards certification. So I have the kinds of questions you need all listed in certification. Again, I'll go over that in another video, which I need you to, of course, take a look at as well. All right? All right. I think that covers at least the major points I wanted to bring out on the exams. One more thing. All of the exams that I have up there, I'm going to repeat this, all of the exams that I have up there are due dates on a Sunday. So long as it's Sunday night at 11 o'clock, except for the final exam. The final exam is due on a Saturday. So don't come up, now I'm telling you this now because I have other students at times went back and said, oh, I thought all the exams were due on Sunday. No. All of them are due on a Sunday except for the final. Now normally, and that's due on a Saturday because the course is over at that particular point. Again, the way you do the exams, you could look on Canvas under assignments, you'll see the dates, and of course, for me, get that sheet. This sheet has a summary of all the assignments and everything there is to do it into it. So do not miss the exam. And I will be sending you emails also about, due dates. Hey, don't forget to take your assignment on Sunday. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. Okay? So you'll get emails. Now, speaking of emails, okay, it's very important in distance education that we maintain some kind of communication. I cannot communicate with you unless you come back to me in email. So right now, you should have a couple of emails waiting for you in Canvas. That will be our main area of communications. So, in the first email I've written you, one of them is, get back to me with an email to let me know you're in the course. I don't have any idea you're there until you come back to me and say, hey Steve, hi, I'm in the course, my name's Harry, or Joe, or Mary, or Betty. Let me know that. And if you got to, tell me something about yourself, tell me it. I keep a track on the emails that come back in, at least notation that you've come back in and you've written to me. I also keep track of what you're doing in test app, believe it or not. So sometimes I have a student that says, oh, you know what, I don't know, I didn't do too well on an exam. And then I look at his progress in the lab sim and the test. I said, well, you didn't do well because most students are spending 10, 12, 14 hours at this point. You spend 5 minutes. No wonder why you didn't do well. You have to, prepare yourself for the exams. If you do that, it's a piece of cake. The end results in this course is that most students end up with an A. A couple with a B, maybe 1 or 2 C's, and then several fail because they just don't do the work and they try to get past and they just don't do it. Again, you can do the whole course in the first week if you wanted to. In other words, there's no the minute the course is up there, all the exams are available. But you have to take them at certain dates. You have to take them at these key dates. Do not miss the key dates on those exams. Okay, a few more things and I think I'll stop here. All right, what about if you need to withdraw? Now, why do you want to withdraw? Well, you're going on the course, say, it's too hard, I don't have any time, I got problems. Everybody has issues. I got issues. We all got issues. So, you have to withdraw yourself. We used to be able, as an instructor, say, a student would say, I can't take an F, could you withdraw me? Sure, I can take it out, put a W, and you got a withdrawal. We can't do that anymore. So if you're going to withdraw, you got to look at the schedule for 2019, the spring semester. There'll be a schedule of some sort out there where it'll tell you your dates, the final dates of withdrawing or leaving the course, etc. You have to do that on your own. Okay, so make sure you think about that. Okay, now if you got problems, you need to talk to me. I'll have some office hours. This is being taken in my office right now at Charleston campus. That's where I'm at. Normally on Wednesdays I'm always here a lot. On Tuesdays and Thursdays I'll probably be here as well. I'm in and out a lot. The best way to do that is to email me and say, hey Steve, can we meet? I got to talk to you about some stuff. No problem. But the meetings are going to have to be at Charleston because I prefer Charleston rather than go to Cheyenne or Henderson. I'm not planning on that. So let me know and I come in plenty of times so I can sit down and talk with you depending on what you need to talk about and what the issue is, okay? All right, wow, I think I've been rattling on a lot here. I think I covered most of what I really want to do is that, a broad orientation, just summarizing, you need to get LabSim as soon as possible. Instructions are out there on email. You will have it. I'll be sending it to you. You need to get those 3 documents I said. They're sitting up on Canvas. There you get the syllabus and the summary, and all those documents are sitting there. There's a lot of videos. You got to get to Canvas and take a look at the Canvas video. I'll have one on an orientation, how to deal with Canvas, and I'll have an orientation on how I would approach test out, and talk a little bit about test out as well. So there's a couple more instructional videos. Again, some of you have not, distance education, this is not like, this is actually harder than in class, quite frankly, because there's nobody riding shot on you. You got to, program yourself to do the work. And some students are good at that and they can do it. Other students, they let it go. They're too busy and they wait and they wait, and then it gets beyond that time frame. Again, you will get out of this course what you put in. You put a little bit in, you're going to get very little out of it. Okay. All right. With that, once again, welcome to CIT112 Networking Plus, and I really hope that this course meets with your objectives. Again, a lot of it's concentrated in LabSim, but I have a lot of supplemental material. If you want to certify, you can do it with LabSim and the questions that I put up there. I'm just telling you that. And this is a new certification. If you just want to get a grade, it's there, a piece of cake to get an A. You get anything less than an A, then you've not been doing your work. I mean, open book. Can you imagine if you have it in a class where it begins closed book? A little tougher, okay? All right, with that I'll say have a good semester. Hope to see you around campus. If you see me around campus, make sure you get a hold, make sure you say hello to me and tell me, hey, by the way, Steve, I'm in your CIT 112 class. And with that, we'll say goodbye and sign off now. Bye.